Dystopian literature is a genre of fiction set in future or near future societies where life and social structures are in calamitous decline. Authors of dystopian literature typically use the setting to examine social and political systems and contemplate what would happen if these systems were amplified. The result is often a society in shambles with rampant oppression, violence, poverty, and revolution. The etymology of the word dystopia describes these settings succinctly but perfectly. By combining the ancient Greek dys, meaning bad, and topos, meaning place, dystopia literally means bad place. There is widespread poverty that the citizens must endure, or there are massive gaps in wealth that create a ruling class of elites and relegate everyone else to a life of scarcity and hardship. Environmental devastation wreaks havoc on the lives and fates of the characters. The destruction might take the form of major weather events like earthquake or floods, climate change and its disastrous effects, or the ramifications of pollution, overpopulation, or disregard for the planet and its finite resources. Typically, there is either no government overseeing law, order, and civilization, or there is a domineering government that operates a police state and controls and monitors the lives of all citizens. A dystopian society often robs its citizens of their basic freedoms and reduces them to sheep who must blindly follow the dictates of a tyrannical and unjust system. The existing power structure in a dystopia produces propaganda to keep the citizenry in line. Such propaganda might present a deceptive picture of life in order to control the population, or it might incite fear and terror and thus generate an excuse to engage in further domination and subjugation. The characters in a dystopian setting are in a fight to survive the oppressive conditions in which they find themselves. They must resort to extreme measures to protect themselves and those around them, which usually means rebelling against the powers that be. Advancements in technology tend to play a key role in controlling or tracking the citizens of a dystopia. Rather than solving problems, technology creates them, damaging relationships, reinforcing hierarchies and power structures, and reducing quality of life. The setting of literature examines the weaknesses in social and political systems and the complexity of human nature. Magnifying these subjects within a dystopian setting allows the author to illustrate what might happen if power runs unchecked or if existing structures of governance and social order stop working for the greater good. Dystopias expose the inherent flaws in systems, societies, and people. Authors of dystopian literature can use these settings to warn readers about the potential outcomes of current methods of governance or ways of life. They can insert their own beliefs into the story as commentary on the possible consequences of a present aspect of modern life or human behavior. The novel, published in 1948, takes place in 1984 and presents an imaginary future where a totalitarian state controls every aspect of life, even people's thoughts. The state is called Oceania and is ruled by a group known as the Party. Its leader and dictator is Big Brother. Winston Smith, the central character, is a 39-year-old man living in London. He secretly hates the party and decides to rebel by starting a diary in which he reveals his rebellious thoughts. Through keeping a diary, Winston commits thought crime and knows that one day he will be discovered by the thought police and probably killed. Winston is fascinated by proletariats the lowest class in social hierarchy of Oceania. They are the only group allowed to live pretty much as they like without heavy police surveillance. He befriends Mr. Charrington, the owner of a junk shop who shares his interest in the past and life before the rule of Big Brother. At work, a dark haired girl who works in another department approaches Winston in the corridor. She pretends to fall and hurt herself. When he helps her up, she slips a piece of paper into his hand. It says, I love you. Winston is surprised and disturbed by this. Any sexual relationship between the party members is strictly forbidden. Nevertheless, he is intrigued. They secretly arrange to meet in the country. He begins a love affair with the girl, who finally introduces herself as Julia. They have to be very cautious and meet in places that are not watched, a clearing in the woods, an old church. Winston and Julia eventually rent the room above Mr. Charrington's junk shop as a long term private place for the two of them. A member of the inner party, O'Brien, finds an excuse to give Winston his home address, an unusual event. Winston, noticeably excited, has always believed O'Brien may not be politically orthodox and could sympathize with his hatred of the party. Winston and Julia go to see O'Brien and he enlists them into the Brotherhood, a secret organization dedicated to fighting Big Brother. He arranges to give Winston a copy of the book, a document that contains the truth about Big Brother and the development of the superstates. Winston and Julia go to their room above the junk shop to read the book. The thought police burst in to arrest them and they discover that Mr. Charrington is a thought police agent. They are taken separately to the Ministry of Love. There, Winston learns that O'Brien is in fact an orthodox government agent and has deliberately tricked him. O'Brien takes charge of the process of reintegrating Winston, torturing and brainwashing him until he fully believes in the party and its doctrines. As a final step of this process, Winston is forced to betray his love for Julia and his feelings for her are destroyed. Winston is released to live out his final days as a broken man. Soon the thought police will execute him. Winston has submitted completely and loves Big Brother. In the Brave New World, universal human happiness has almost been achieved. Control of reproduction, genetic engineering, conditioning, especially via repetitive messages delivered during sleep, and a perfect pleasure drug called Soma are the cornerstones of the new society. Reproduction has been removed from the womb and placed on the conveyor belt, where reproductive workers tinker with the embryos to produce various grades of human beings, ranging from the super intelligent alpha pluses down to the dwarfed epsilons. Each class is conditioned to love its type of work and its place in society. For example, epsilons are supremely happy running elevators. Outside of their work, people spend their lives in constant pleasure. The story is about Bernard, an alpha whose programming is a bit off. He is discontented and desires to spend time alone just thinking or looking at the stars. At one point, he takes Lenina on a vacation to a savage reservation in New Mexico. There he discovers John, son of Linda, who had visited the reservation more than 20 years previously and was accidentally left behind. When she discovered she was pregnant, she had to remain among the savages. John returns to the Brave New World, where he is celebrated as a visiting savage. However, he cannot adapt to this totally alien society and ultimately he takes his own life. Atwood's 1985 novel takes place in a dystopian society called Gilead, a near future version of the United States. In this world, a theocratic male government runs a ruthlessly totalitarian state that subjugates women into various classes and roles. One of those roles is handmaid. a woman who must bear children for the Gileadian elite. Offred is the handmaid at the center of the story, and she describes her life before and after the events that robbed women of their basic human rights and liberties.